The Lakers are heading into training camp with one last two-way contract up for grabs, and all eyes are starting to turn toward Eric Dixon. Now, if you're not too familiar with Dixon, get ready, because this is a name you're probably going to hear a lot more about in the coming weeks. Out of everyone fighting for that final spot, Dixon might just be the most NBA-ready guy in the mix. He's not flashy, he's not some viral name on draft boards, but what he is a bucket, a pure scorer. And that's exactly what this Lakers roster needs right now. The competition is tight, and there are other names in the mix. Arthur Kaluma, for instance, is someone who has his own set of fans within the Lakers fan base. A long, athletic forward who brings size, defense, and that two-way upside you want alongside someone like Luka Doncic in the future. Kaluma's got that prototypical build of a modern wing, and his presence screams versatility. If you told me the Lakers were trying to build a long-term core around Luka, Kaluma, Emoni Bates, and a solid big like DeAndre Ayton, it would make sense. The idea of Kaluma filling a Dorian Finney-Smith type role is super appealing, especially when you imagine what that unit could look like 3 years from now. But even with that upside, Dixon seems to be the frontrunner, and it's not hard to see why. He was one of the most prolific scorers in college basketball last season. In fact, he led the entire nation in scoring. That alone should raise eyebrows. We didn't get to see him in action during Summer League because of an injury, one that honestly flew under the radar until he was spotted in a walking boot and news kind of trickled out from there. So there's a bit of a mystery surrounding his health, but if he's going full speed in training camp, it's safe to assume the Lakers' medical staff cleared him, and that alone tells us he's in decent shape. What really makes Dixon intriguing is how polished he is on the offensive end. He's not just a volume scorer, he's an efficient one. He knows how to get to his spots, he's comfortable operating from all three levels, and he's built like a tank. Standing at 6'8" and weighing in around 255 to 260 pounds, he's got that bruiser body, but with a surprisingly finesse scoring package. Some people have compared his game to a younger version of Julius Randle. Not today's Julius, but the one that came out of college, hungry, explosive, and looking to make an impact right away. The big difference? Dixon's already more polished offensively than Randle was back then. He's also got the versatility to play both forward spots. Now, ideally, you want him at the 4. That's where he's most comfortable, and where his lack of foot speed is less of a liability. Putting him at the 3 would be a stretch, especially in today's NBA, where wings have to guard some of the fastest and most dynamic players in the world. Dixon just doesn't have the lateral quickness for that. Same goes for Rui Hachimura, honestly. Rui has been serviceable at the 3 in short spurts, but let's be real, he's more of a natural 4. The same logic applies to Dixon. What makes Dixon such a compelling fit for this current Lakers roster is his maturity and experience. He's 24 now and will turn 25 in January. That's not exactly young by rookie standards, but it's also not a bad thing. In fact, if you look at some of the players the Lakers have had success with over the last few years, Austin Reaves, for example, a lot of them came in with more college experience and were just mentally and physically more prepared for the grind of the NBA. Dixon fits that mold perfectly. Offensively, the guy's numbers pop. Last season in college, he played 35 games, started every one of them, and averaged just under 35 minutes per game. He took over 17 shots a night, shot 45% from the field, and absolutely lit it up from deep. Over 7 attempts per game from beyond the arc, hitting them at a scorching 41% clip. That is insane volume and efficiency, especially for a power forward at the college level. To put that in perspective, there are guards in the NCAA who don't shoot 7 threes a night. Dixon did it while being the focal point of his team's offense. His career average from deep sits at just under 39%, and outside of his freshman year, his worst three-point shooting season came at 35% on 5 attempts per game. Again, solid volume, solid efficiency. His effective field goal percentage was over 53%, and he shot over 81% from the free throw line last year on more than 6 attempts per game. All of these numbers point to a guy who knows how to score, gets to the line, and converts when he's there. That type of offensive polish is not something you often find in undrafted guys fighting for a two-way slot. The rebounding numbers are decent too, just over 5 per game last season, and about 5.5 for his career. Not elite, but serviceable, especially for a guy whose primary role on this Lakers roster would likely be as a scorer off the bench. Defensively, there are questions. He's not a plus defender by any stretch, but he's physical enough to hold his own in certain matchups. He's not going to anchor your defense, but that's not what you're asking him to do anyway. And here's where things get interesting. If the Lakers are able to pull off a trade, say, for Andrew Wiggins, and have to clear some roster space, Dixon might be one of those guys who can slide right into a back-end role on the main roster. It's not like you're banking on him to play 25 minutes a night, but in a pinch, he could be that instant offense guy off the bench. Think about how often the Lakers' offense has gone stale with the second unit. Having someone who can come in, create his own shot, hit a catch-and-shoot three, or bully his way to the rim, it's a luxury. He's not going to be a focal point of the offense in those minutes. But if he can accept a role similar to Rui Hachimura, spot up, stay ready, and attack when the opportunity comes, he could carve out a niche for himself. Honestly, he could even make Rui somewhat expendable, depending on how things go in camp. If Dixon comes in and starts torching defenders, looking like a mini Rui with a better three ball, the front office may start thinking, do we need both of these guys? That opens up all kinds of flexibility if the Lakers are serious about making another move. Now, of course, there's a ceiling to what Dixon can be. He's not some mystery prospect with unlimited upside. He's probably closer to his finished product than some of these other younger guys. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you can get a guy who can come in and give you consistent bench scoring for the next 3 or 4 years, that's a win, especially on a minimum contract or two-way deal. If he ends up being a guy who randomly drops 25 points on a Tuesday night in Oklahoma City, you'd take that all day. And when you look at the depth the Lakers have, especially in the forward rotation, it's clear that scoring is still a weakness off the bench. Yes, you've got Rui. You've got Jared Vanderbilt, who's more of a defensive presence. You got guys like Christian Wood and maybe even some minutes for rookies or G League call-ups. But none of them are pure scorers. None of them can go get you a bucket the way Dixon might be able to. That skill alone could be his ticket into the regular rotation. We'll see what happens in training camp, but all signs point to Eric Dixon being the frontrunner for that final two-way slot. And depending on how things shake out with trades or roster movement, don't be surprised if he ends up on the main roster. Now, when we talk about what Eric Dixon could actually look like in a Lakers jersey during real NBA minutes, that's where things get a little more speculative, but also more exciting. The question isn't whether Dixon can score. We already know that. The question is, can he do it efficiently and effectively within the flow of an NBA offense, surrounded by stars, on a team that expects to win now? That's the challenge, and it's a real one. It's one thing to dominate the ball in college, be the number one option, the guy taking 17 shots a game. It's another thing entirely to slide into an NBA rotation and make an impact in limited minutes with limited touches and still manage to stand out. That's the adjustment that separates the guys who stay in the league from the ones who wash out. And for Dixon, that's going to be the key test. Because let's be honest, he's not going to walk into the Lakers locker room and suddenly become the second or third option. He's going to be asked to do very specific things, and he's going to have to do them well. Think catch-and-shoot threes. Think setting solid screens, rolling hard, popping to the perimeter. Think attacking closeouts with control, using his strength to get to the rim without turning the ball over. And most importantly, think defense. Even if he's never going to be a lockdown guy, he has to at least be serviceable. He has to be able to stay in front of his man, make rotations, not blow assignments. That's the bare minimum for a forward in today's NBA. Especially on a team coached by someone like Darvin Ham, who's going to expect defensive effort from everybody who steps on the court. And here's where Dixon's age and experience actually work in his favor. At 24, going on 25, he's not going to panic when the game speeds up. He's not going to get rattled if he has a rough first half or misses a few shots. He's been through too much basketball for that. That mental toughness is something you don't always get with rookies. A lot of young guys come in and think the game will come easy to them the way it did in high school or college. Then they get hit with the speed, the size, the length of NBA defenders, and suddenly they're questioning themselves. That won't be the case with Dixon. If he gets minutes, he'll be ready to contribute. Now, whether he ends up on the main roster or just gets the two-way contract, the Lakers are in a pretty good spot with him. Because either way, they're adding a guy with a skill set that is in high demand, scoring. There are so many players in the league who can defend, rebound, pass, do all the little things, but not all of them can get buckets. Not all of them can shoot over the top of a defender, hit a pull-up jumper in traffic, or go one-on-one when the shot clock is winding down. That's a rare trait, and Dixon has it. You can't teach that kind of scoring instinct. You can refine it, polish it, help him adjust to NBA spacing, but the core of who he is as a player is already established. And again, let's not forget the context. This Lakers bench has been inconsistent when it comes to scoring. Even last season, they struggled to generate offense when the starters sat. That second unit lacked a real shot creator outside of occasional Rue Hachimura explosions. If Dixon can prove in camp and in preseason that he can be that microwave scorer, even in short bursts, then the Lakers may not just view him as a two-way player. They might see him as someone who can actually crack the rotation when needed, especially in a long, grinding 82-game season where injuries and fatigue are always factors. And look, this isn't to say Eric Dixon is about to become the next undrafted star. We're not calling him the next Austin Reaves or predicting some breakout where he averages 20 a night. But what we are saying is that he fills a real need. He has a defined skill set. He's older, more experienced, more polished than most players fighting for that last two-way. And in a league that values shooting and scoring more than ever, that's his ticket in. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, whispers are swirling around the Golden State Warriors locker room. And if the latest murmurs are to be believed, the franchise could be on the brink of a quiet storm. Sources close to the team hint that Austin Reaves, the rising talent known for his sharp shooting and fearless court vision, has reached a breaking point. According to insiders, Reaves has allegedly made it clear that he no longer wants to share the floor with veteran forward DALTON KNECHT. The reasons behind this reported tension remain murky, but speculation is rife among fans and analysts alike. Some suggest that stylistic clashes and differences in on-court philosophy have slowly eroded the chemistry between the two players. Reaves, whose game thrives on spacing and quick decision-making, may find KNECHT's slower, more methodical style constraining. Others whisper that personal friction, perhaps aggravated by locker room hierarchy and media attention, has made the relationship untenable. If true, this could signal a seismic shift for the Warriors, a team that has prided itself on stability and cohesion in recent years. Reaves has become a cornerstone for the franchise's future, and management may face a tough choice: accommodate the rising star's wishes or risk unsettling a roster that has often relied on veteran leadership to weather the storm of the NBA season. Meanwhile, fans have taken to social media to speculate wildly, with some calling for a trade, while others argue that KNECHT's experience is indispensable in high-pressure playoff scenarios. The rumor, though unverified, has already sparked debate across sports shows and online forums. Analysts question whether the Warriors can navigate this potential internal conflict without sacrificing performance, while others see it as an opportunity to recalibrate the roster around Reaves' strengths. Meanwhile, teammates are reportedly walking a fine line, aware that any public acknowledgement could fan the flames of speculation further. Whether this tension is real or just the result of media magnification remains to be seen, but the NBA world is watching closely. If Reaves truly refuses to play alongside KNECHT, Golden State may need to make difficult decisions in the coming weeks. Trades, lineup shifts, or even a recalibration of team roles could be on the horizon, making this one of the most talked-about stories of the season, at least off the court. For now, the rumor mill churns, and fans are left to wonder: can the Warriors maintain their championship aspirations if chemistry cracks from within? Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.